Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Phil, that's Sam.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back.
Today we're getting back to the military-based content that we've got into a little bit on the channel. It's been really informative and educational stuff that we had no idea about prior to starting the channel, but it's been pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, I never really had an interest in this kind of stuff in the past, but this has been an awesome journey and I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and like I was saying, historical events that we didn't know of, we've learned about, and this is going to be another one here
Mhm.
in the first Medal of Honor ever recorded. So when they say recorded, they're referring to the fact that it was recorded on drone footage. So I think we're going to get to experience that drone footage in this video,
Cool.
and it's regarding John Chapman, who was given the Medal of Honor. This event, I believe, was 2002.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, right? Because obviously prior to this point, like technology and having mobile, like computers weren't as big and having the ability to use like mobile cameras
Mhm,
and video wasn't obviously as predominant.
mhm.
So you're only ever going off of the record
Historical
of
accounts.
people's experience, right? Whereas now this kind of marks that time in that early 2000s where that technology shift was happening.
Yeah, but he wasn't awarded the Medal of Honor from what we saw until 2018, and I believe it might have been President Trump that gave him that. So I don't know how that all transpired, how it played out in terms of the award, and why it was took so long. And I think he was 37 years old when John passed away. He was 37 when this event took place, so still a young guy, and commemorating his memory by giving him the Medal of Honor. So let's find out what exactly happened. I'm not really sure on the details of that, and that's why we're going to do this video. If you got any other insights that this video doesn't include, we'd love to hear them because we love learning on this channel. All right, Sam, you ready to find out about what happened to John?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Chapman, a U.S. Air Force combat controller, and the SEALs are attempting to rescue their lost teammate. You'll watch Chapman's heroic actions as he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team and then another 18 members of a quick reaction force, earning America's highest award, the Medal of Honor. Chapman and the SEALs exfil their MH-47 helicopter. John is the second individual to exit and immediately moves in the direction of the summit. He can be seen moving off to the right of the screen, alone. The team is taking heavy fire from every direction, as indicated by the arrows, as Chapman begins engaging targets. You can see spent cartridges ejecting from his M4. Chapman then begins closing with the enemy, forcing his way upslope in knee and thigh-deep snow. He is constantly under fire as he does this. Chapman's team leader begins to close on Chapman, following his trail through the snow. The dark mass above Chapman is a fortified bunker containing two enemy fighters, each armed with AK-47s, who are firing down on the team in the darkness. This bunker will come to be known as Bunker Number 1. To the left of the tree and Bunker 1 is another gray mass. This is a rock outcropping that came to be called the Boulder. Between Bunker 1 and this boulder can be seen the body of slain SEAL Neil Roberts, the man Chapman and the others are attempting to recover. Chapman, still alone and closest to the enemy, pauses to engage targets as his team leader follows him, but never actually catches up with him. Chapman, on his own, now makes the decision to charge directly into the enemy bunker, despite withering point-blank fire. Chapman, now literally on top of the enemy, engages the two combatants and kills them, saving the lives of the remaining SEALs. He does this from a distance of no more than 10 feet. These actions by themselves earned him his first Medal of Honor. He then climbs into and takes control of the bunker. Having cleared the immediate threat, Chapman is then joined by his team leader in Bunker 1. You can then see Chapman and his team leader engaging the next bunker, known as Bunker 2, which is situated to the left edge of the screen. This bunker, manned by a handful of Chechen and Uzbek fighters, also contains a heavy PKM machine gun, hand grenades, and rocket-propelled grenades.
Jeez.
John Chapman is shot twice at this time in the torso and collapses, incapacitated. You are now looking at a new angle, and at the left of the screen can be seen the two-man fire team and team leader on top of the boulder. Just below it is Bunker 1 with the mortally wounded Chapman.
You can see the gun.
One SEAL can be seen firing his modified M60 machine gun from the hip into Bunker 2 on the right side of the screen until he is struck by grenade shrapnel and tumbles 10 feet off the top of the boulder, collapsing at the feet of his team leader, thus setting off a chain of events that would lead to the SEALs abandoning Chapman on the summit.
Oh, jeez.
The wounded SEAL and the team leader can be seen conferring about his injuries. Moments later, the SEALs decide to retreat from the summit because their position is untenable in the face of continued massive enemy firepower. They can be seen moving toward the right side of the screen and passing the body of Neil Roberts. Unfortunately, the SEALs do not pass John Chapman, who is above them and inside Bunker 1. This angle shows 3 SEALs in a triangle. The larger black heat signature is a smoke grenade. Just to its left is a donkey and dead Al-Qaeda fighter killed by Chapman. The steepness of the mountain can be seen as the SEALs begin to slide down the near sheer face.
Just insane. You see these visuals of the mountain, and like he was just saying, them sliding down the mountain, and we just have this kind of 2D picture here of what's happening. We're trying to picture it, right? And I can't even put myself in their position of the conditions, the fact that they're being fired on. We're talking grenades, machine guns. And just surrounded by the enemy, all to save one guy which was unfortunately already passed away at that point. And then, we have John getting left behind here. I do have a question that maybe you guys can help me with. If you guys are, experts in this field, how he got separated in the beginning, because that seemed to contribute to a large amount of the problems right from the get-go as he got separated from the team. He was kind of on his own.
Well, it kind of seemed like he went that way by himself.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if that was reconnaissance, if he was doing it on purpose to get a feel for what was, ahead, and that's what he was assigned to do. Or if it was just they lost communication for a moment, it was dark or something, they couldn't see each other, or whatever, because obviously that contributed and factored into him getting caught away from the group.
Yeah.
And obviously your strength is in numbers, right? Especially in foreign territory. But just him going in, charging in right away, taking out 2 guys that are shooting on the rest of his team, and taking, I guess, the advantage to, get into the position that he was in and utilize that to his advantage. But it now seems like they're about to get out of there, and he's still stuck there.
Yeah, because they said he was unconscious, right?
Right. Yeah. And he had been shot, I think they said, twice already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they said in the abdomen or something, or the midsection. And then
they also said his first Medal of Honor. He had already gotten his first Medal of Honor through going in and killing those 2 guys and saving the rest of his Navy SEAL team. So I don't know if he's going to get 2 Medal of Honors in this.
Yeah, I don't know. And so just so I understand correctly, basically they arrived there not knowing the person that they were trying to save was already
I believe
dead,
so.
and that now they've recovered the body and they're leaving.
I think it was a rescue mission, and they didn't find out he was dead until they
got in there and shot up that first bunker or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Face. The team leader, desperate for relief and now with 2 wounded teammates, asks for uncontrolled airstrikes from an orbiting Air Force AC-130 gunship. The impacts you see are from 105mm howitzer rounds being fired onto the ridgetop in order to save the remaining SEALs. Because neither the SEALs nor gunship know Chapman is alive, he is experiencing these detonations from his position.
My goodness.
At approximately 5:20 in the morning, Chapman recovers and begins to engage the enemy. Bunker 1 is on the right side center of the screen, and Bunker 2 to the left near the screen center. It will never be known what caused his incapacitation and recovery. Of the 2 rounds that originally wounded him, at least 1 was mortal, and at this time he is experiencing severe blood loss and shock. Despite that, he begins his one-man stand against 24 enemy combatants.
What?
During this time, Chapman initiates a series of radio calls, many of which are heard by a fellow combat controller and teammate of his and Delta Force operators on a nearby summit. Despite this combat controller's replies, Chapman never acknowledges whether because of damage to his equipment or himself will never be known. This new angle and footage shows Chapman at the top, identified by the green dot under the tree at Bunker 1. The lower center of the screen shows the first enemy fighter who is about to charge Chapman in the hopes of killing the American. The timestamp at the bottom shows it is now 6:05 in the morning and fully light. He's been fighting alone now for 40 plus minutes and has received more gunshot and shrapnel wounds as a result of the fierce combat. This scene shows the second of several enemy charges. In this stunning display of determination and courage, Chapman can be seen fighting hand to hand with the fighter. In the larger screen display can be seen additional enemy moving on to the summit. But right now, John Chapman is fighting for his life. 6 minutes later, in this new shot, Chapman can hear another helicopter approaching the summit. He is in the bottom center of the screen underneath the tree and can be seen in the magnified inset box as he begins his desperate final stand to save the lives of the 18 men on the helicopter. The red dots are enemy fighters. John begins engaging the enemy in multiple directions and is rapidly approaching the last of his ammunition. The helicopter contains a quick reaction force comprised of Rangers, pararescuemen, and another combat controller. It is now 6:13 and the helicopter is short final. The enemy is desperately trying to displace Chapman so they can put heavy weapons or rocket-propelled grenades in Bunker 1 while simultaneously engaging the helicopter. With the choice to save his life or the lives of his unknown comrades, Chapman makes the decision to climb out of the bunker and begin firing in multiple directions as can be seen in the inset. Suffering from as many as a dozen wounds, Chapman is in fact already in the process of dying. As he fights, the helicopter is struck by a rocket-propelled grenade and makes a remarkable controlled crash just below Chapman and the summit. Chapman, now off-screen, continues to cover his comrades as they pour out of the stricken helicopter. Some of them are fatally shot as they exit. These images, with Chapman fighting the enemy at close quarter, are the last to show him alive and in this heroic act, thus qualifying for his second Medal of Honor. Ultimately, Chapman would expend all but the last few rounds of his ammunition, until, finally, after 16 bullet and shrapnel wounds, Chapman succumbs when he is shot through the heart. We will never know his final thoughts or words, but what we do know is his decisions and actions single-handedly saved the lives of 23 comrades. For more information about John Chapman's amazing story and the details about this mission, visit danschillingbooks.com or your favorite book retailer to obtain a copy of the Chronicle of his life, Alone at Dawn.
It's crazy. 16 shots he took.
Yeah, that
Or
definitely
bullet wounds, I
choked
guess.
me up. Talk about some heroic activity by one guy.
Yeah.
That was insane. And literally, those actions, like they said, the second Medal of Honor would have, because if they had been able to set up the artillery to, have a rocket launcher or something like that to shoot at the helicopter, it would have been toast, right?
100%.
Because it had, they're all stuck there. So, like they said, he could have chose to try to get to his cover with the Rangers and stuff that were there, which may have allowed him to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Or, by doing that,
Distract all of them and keep them occupied so that they can get out and get away. Yeah.
And so I can see why he was awarded the Medal of Honor, because there's not much, things braver in life that you can do other than that.
Well, I think even before that, like, he was incapacitated and he had already been shot twice and was essentially dying and chose to get up and like go fight these people, right? Like,
yeah, I think
that alone is crazy.
That's the aura of the Navy SEALs that you hear about so often, is the mental toughness, the mental fortitude to push through that when you're like literally dying. And then this guy gets into hand-to-hand combat with somebody when he has bullets through him and still manages to beat this guy. And then what did they say? 24 people, fighters, shooters on him.
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Well,
Like
they said he took 16 shots, right? Like 16 bullet wounds.
that's insane. And then to kill him, they had to shoot him in the heart. Like, you know, not dying unless you literally end my life. I'm going to continue.
Yeah, like I can't even imagine the pain you have to push through, and like the physical pain, but also like, you know, you have to like mentally convince yourself to keep going on.
Yeah, and beyond that though, like I think sometimes people overlook like the fact that your body's going to start failing.
Yeah.
Like there's mental fortitude, right? But like then there's a degree of beyond that where your body literally starts shutting down, like and you can't control it, right? And you still are how he did all this, I have no idea. Just mind blowing.
It's also so crazy that you can see all of that taking place from this like
drone footage.
Yeah. And like be able, I mean, I'm assuming also they probably, you know, interviewed other people that were there that survived and asked them, and then they kind of pieced it all together with this drone footage, but it's just wild.
Yeah. And they also have, I think, just probably certain operations, they take place a certain way, so they would know kind of what he was doing based on his training.
Yeah.
Right. And then they can piece it all together. But literally, you know, he was just like, John Chapman was just like, I'm going to do this myself. You know, nobody else can do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
So wild story.
Yeah,
totally
crazy.
Deserved.
Medal of Honor.
Yeah. Honorable guy. Like I said, I think he was 37 years old, and, you know, will not be forgotten, I'm sure. Not by any of those people that had their lives saved. So this was a very impactful story for me personally, for sure. You don't hear about these things, you know? I don't know why, and maybe there is a movie about him, but there should be.
Well, I mean, at least there's a book. It's probably a pretty good book.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, let us know if there's anything else you want us to check out. Hit that like button if you enjoyed checking this out with us. We appreciate all your support. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for watching.